We'll be back with you in a minute. Going. All right, recording in progress. So hello, everyone. This is Lynn Hamilton, your lead instructor at Sampson Properties with our Learning Trail session today. And today we are going to be talking about the value of Jumpstart Session 3. And if you have not completed your sessions 1 and 2, I'm going to ask you to do so. I need to know that you have a foundation for us to build on. And that is why Jumpstart was created. After 20-something years of teaching and thousands of agents, I saw the same, I'm going to say, problems over and over again. And so Jumpstart was created to walk agents through methodically. Now, even if they are a seasoned agent, here's how I want you to look at it. I want you to say, okay, am I doing this? How well am I doing this? Can I do it better? If you can, do it better right then and there. Block some time off if you need to on your calendar to keep it consistent, especially with your database, because your database, it's never a one and done. It is never completed. It is a living and breathing part of your business that is constantly in nourishment mode. Okay. So first thing I want you to take a look at is your own personal. How many are in your database right now? Your SOI, your sphere of influence. Hopefully you have a number. Of that, I want you, can you identify within that number, how many A contacts do you have? How many B? How many C? How many D? How many transaction partners? How many service providers and other agents do you have in your database? Again, I'm going to refer back to Jumpstart Session 3. We take you through the process, and let me just state this as well. I don't care which platform you use. I don't care if you're using Bull Trails, which was formerly KV Core. I don't care if you're using Lofty. I don't care if you're using Top Producer, All Clients, any of the other platforms that may have been available to you in the past. I don't care if you say, Lynn, I don't even have a computer. I need them on 3x5 file cards. We can do that. It doesn't matter what platform they are in. Now, if you're listening to me going, Bull Trails, Lofty, and you just start shaking, okay, take a deep breath. If you are not ready to tackle that, guess what? God, don't let anybody hear me saying this, but you can start managing your database, your SOI, under the contacts of your business email address. I don't care if it's Google or Gmail. I don't care if it's Outlook. It can be done to get you started. So if you're sitting there going, I don't even know how to log into Bull Trails and I'm not ready for all that, it's okay. I want you to bloom where you are planted. I want you to take a deep breath and say, I'm going to start where I'm at. And if I'm in an Excel spreadsheet, if I'm in my contacts, I don't care. I want you to start where you're at. We can always later upload it or have it uploaded for you into Bull Trails if that is where you decide you want to build it out from. Now, let me share with you the brand new concern that has populated out effective immediately. It actually started last year. It is now being, more enforced stronger as of 2025. And it's regarding what we label as your free email address. A free email address is what you would download or create in Google, in Outlook, in MSN, in Yahoo, in any of these other platforms. Let's talk about that for just a minute. We've all done it. We've all done it. I have for years. I used to teach when you came into real estate, you take your personal email address and set it aside for personal. You create a business email address that is only used for your real estate. People are a lot savvier now than they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. If you are using an, I'm going to say outdated Yahoo or iCloud even is problematic, or MSN, whatever it was, any of those platforms for email, people look at you and kind of go, you are not taking, in their eyes, you are not taking your business serious enough to get you a business email address. A great comparison is if you had to go in for a major surgery, something on your brain, something on your heart, would you want to work with a doctor whose email address was heartdoc@gmail.com? You'd be going, I think I'm going to continue looking around. Good, bad, or indifferent, consumers look at real estate agents in that same light once they see your email address. So moving forward, if you are going to consider this and run this as a business, this is one of the things that you, in my opinion, absolutely need to do. And that is to create, and there's a small fee for it, but purchase a business email address. Now, in Jumpstart Session 1, we talk about your branding, getting your domain name and your email address, whether it be through GoDaddy, whether it be through Google Business or Google Domains. Take it serious. Take your business serious. And anytime you've got a business, I'm sorry, there's going to be expenses to it. Too many agents are running this like a hobby, and they're wondering why consumers aren't taking them serious, because they're not taking it serious. So create a business email address. Once you've got it done, obviously you can go into the profile of your website, which is in Bold Trails or in Lofty, whatever you're using, and you can update it there. If you are changing and getting a new business email address and need to notify the company, you can also email our help desk. And for those that may not know, help desk was created, I'm going to guess about a year ago. We love it. It makes our life a whole lot easier. It's helpdesk@samsonproperties.net. Any question can go into there. They have worked on it for well over a year before they launched it. And it then forwards out to the person that can address that or solve that problem. So it is manned and it is monitored. So you want to make sure that you've updated it there, update it with your board, whatever, board or association you're with, but just make sure you update it on all your business related stuff. All right. Next thing I want to share with you, and the reason that we're also encouraging that, because people do look at you a little bit differently when they see, an outdated email platform. But with the new regulations that are, and cybersecurity and fraud and everything else, hackers are smarter than we are. They can get into a Gmail, an Outlook, a free account faster than the speed of sound. They are determining, they being the powers that are smarter than me, are determining that a lot of the fraud that was coming through title companies was because agents had a free email account that could be hacked into. And the agent never knew it was being hacked into by somebody else. So they've got a transaction going, they're emailing clients, somebody from, God knows where is monitoring it. And that is how a lot of that came. There have been millions of dollars in real estate transaction money, whether it be EMDs or payments coming in or payments going out, that have gotten lost and diverted to an unknown source because the agent's email address has gotten hacked and nobody knew it. Okay. So this is part of the reason. The other part, as I was told, is regarding cybersecurity. And of course, it came from a cybersecurity expert. So much of the scam emails are like 12msrq10@gmail. It's a bogus email address. Those are often created by the scammers, and they will blast out thousands and thousands and thousands of emails. So when you look at, and I know good and well that if you've gone into your email, especially what comes into your email, your personal, you're going to get stuff in there and you're going, who in the heck is this? And it's from some, 12479mq@gmail, that's bogus. That is a bogus scammer. They're phishing. They're trying to get into an account. So from a consumer protection and all the other components, they're trying to slow down the amount of hacking that's able to be done into email accounts. So effective last year, effective big time now, here's the general rules. If you are using your free email account and it is connected to Bull Trails, Lofty, Top Producer, All Clients, MailChimp, any of these other email blasting platforms, it will no longer allow you to use a free email account in connection with the CRMs. Now, it'll show that the email blast went out, and you'll go, oh, but it went out. My dashboard's showing me it went out. It may have gone out, but then it hit the brick wall. The brick wall has been put up to stop the spam, junk, mass emails from going out. And that's unfortunately what ours gets branded in as well. So it hits a brick wall, goes nowhere, but it doesn't get to the recipient. So if you are looking at your dashboard going, well, it's going out, okay, look to see how many received it and opened it. You'll find that number has taken a nosedive down because it's not getting to the intended source. All right. Now, if you are using, I'm just going to use Gmail or Outlook as the generic. If you are still using one of those and do not want to purchase a business email account, know that first off, you will probably be limited and unable to send out blast emails through another platform. So you couldn't do it through Lofty or Bull Trails. But if you are sending it as a batch email out from your Gmail or Outlook, the general rule of thumb is it limits it to 100 per blast out or a maximum of 500 a day. So if you're going to use your free Gmail account that you set up for business and go, well, I'm just going to email them out through there. Okay. First off, make sure that you, God, do not send a batch out in the to, where you have your email says to or CC, carbon copy. Make sure if you're doing a batch, it goes into BCC. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. In other words, the other people getting it do not know who else is getting it. If you send it through CC, everybody is going to be able to see everybody's email address, and you are going to piss them off because they're going to go, how dare you? Bozo, no, 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 don't do that. So if you are going to send out, so let's say you have a small and you say, well, I can just send them out through my regular, Gmail account right now. Okay, that's fine. But just make sure that if you blast out a group, it's a BCC, not ever a CC, and not ever in just the to line. Okay, because that'll get you in more hot water than you can bail out of. All right, so that is the update, if you will, on some of the new regulations regarding the use of email addresses, especially the free email addresses and what you can and cannot do. Now, if you have sent something out, you may be getting an email from Bold Trails or Lofty or Top Producer or All Clients or whatever that says, we no longer support email blasts with that email address. That's what that's all about. You will need to contact whatever provider it is, and they will help get it fixed. Okay, quick question. Emma, I see you got your hand up. What's up, my dear?
Yeah, hit the unmute. Yeah, where do you how do you purchase a business email?
Okay,
Okay.
you can do it through one of a couple of ways. As I mentioned earlier, you can go to GoDaddy
Oh, okay.
and buy a domain name, which is your website identification. And you can also buy the email address there as well. Other option is you can go into Google Business and purchase it through Google Business or Google Domains. Those are the
Okay.
only basic ones I know about. Does anybody else know of another option? I'm kind of scrolling through everybody real fast to see who's on here. If you do, drop it in the chat box for me. Okay. If you know of another platform where you can purchase, and it's like maybe $12 a month or something. Um,
Lynn, can I say
Minimal.
something?
Yes.
I'm sorry, you can actually buy a domain through Outlook that is secure.
Okay.
And so like my email is josephine@delightfuldwellings.com. That's an Outlook domain, but you can actually personalize or customize it to your business.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. I did not know about that one. And then let's see, GoDaddy, was very easy to use. There was another comment that popped up. Let me find it. Someone said they paid $23 a year for theirs. Again, a small fee, but there is a fee. Okay, so awesome. Thank you for your feedback. That helps me to help you. So I appreciate that. Thanks. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We got that all taken care of. Your database, as we talk in Jumpstart session 3. In fact, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down and then hold it because I'm going to scroll through everybody that's here. Have you completed Jumpstart session 3? I'm not talking just listen to it. Have you completed it? A yes or a no? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or somewhere in between. Okay, I'm seeing some downs. I'm seeing most downs. Okay. All right, let me scroll back. I got some thumbs up, got some thumbs down. All right, perfect. All right, so let's, again, square one. Your database is a flipping gold mine. I would be tempted to use another word, but I'll be a ladylike today and just say flipping. It is a gold mine. I am always, and have been for 20 years, been boggled to no end that agents have not taken the potential of their database more seriously than they do. So we're going to break it down and make it as easy as possible. Again, if you have not listened and have gone through the Jumpstart sessions 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to beg you to do it. That is going to give us the foundation that I can help you build. Without it, we're walking in quicksand on a piece of Swiss cheese because we're going to go down at some point. So the logic and the concept behind your database organization is you take everyone that you know, obviously have them in there. Again, I don't care what platform you're using. You will give them a rating of an A, B, C, or D. A is a past or current client or someone who has referred you to someone else. A B is you know them, they know you. You're doing a pretty good job at staying in touch with them, but when the time comes, you're pretty sure they're going to let you help them with their real estate needs. Those are your B's. Your C is, I think I remember them. I hope they remember who I am. I haven't talked to them in a while. I'm not sure if I would recognize them if I tripped over them. Those are your C's. Your D's are, who in the heck is this? I don't remember them. They sure in the heck aren't going to remember you. You are looking at that name going, I don't even remember where I met them. That's a D. So that is the 4 labels that you use within your SOI. From there, in your database, you will also develop out transaction partners. You need to have them in there because you need to be able to have their information at your fingertips. Who are the vendors and people that will help and work in partnership with you through a transaction? Because guess what? You don't do them alone. So that would be your lenders. Hopefully it's your Cardinal Title and your local title rep. It is your home inspector. It is your home warranty. Who are the vendors that get you through a transaction? Those are your transaction partners. Third category is service providers. Who are the vendors / people who, based off their skills and expertise, service a home? Because that's what you got, and that's what you specialize in. Is it a painter, electrician, a plumber, a roofer, landscaper, fence, pool, siding, power wash? Who are the people that you know right now that are service providers? So because here's where it all comes back around. Again, leverage and putting the pieces together. You want to develop out the branding of, I am your go-to source for anything real estate related. If they have a question of, oh, I need a painter, let me call Josephine, they're going to call. And let's hope like heck she's got some in her database. Now, when you listen to Jumpstart session 3, I go through, and I don't have time today, but I go through a deep dive on exactly how to build out good service providers. You reach out to your database and you say, hey, Karen, I'm working on a project and I need your help. Because usually a person's reaction to that is, sure, what do you need? As you can imagine, I am often asked for a recommendation of a service provider to help someone with a repair or maintenance on their home. Here's my question. Who have you used that did a good job, you would use again, and you would highly recommend? That is all covered in detail in Jumpstart session 3, the recording of it. That I'll tell you, gang, right there, that will double, triple, or quadruple your database in 30 days. Because you can get through your entire database with a few phone calls a day or emails on that a day and reach everyone and find out who it is. Now, if you have an allergic reaction to the phone or don't have a phone, I'm just saying, you can email them. You can text them. Hey, Denise, I just sent you an email. It's important. When you get a chance, go take a look. I need your help. Text done, email done. And again, in the email, you put the same thing. Hey, I'm working on a project. I need your help. As you can imagine, I'm often asked for great referrals. Who have you guys recently used around the house for any repairs or service that A, did a good job, B, you would use again, and C, you would highly recommend? Boom. They will respond back. Okay. That is the best way to build them out. Now, I got to tell you, because I know that person's not on this call, I got asked one time, well, what if they did a bad job? And I looked at this gal, and yes, she was a blonde. Sorry for any blondes that may be on the call. And I said, really? I just asked for someone who did a great job, they would use again, and they would recommend. Do you think for 1 second they are going to give me the name of somebody who did a crummy job? Now, I never thought about it that way. Now, sometimes I will actually ask, especially if they say, oh, I got someone, I want that name, because that goes on a separate list. Because if I ever hear that name come back around, I know that a customer has not been happy with that company. And I just kind of keep it on the side. I never say anything, but I keep it on the side. All right. So that is how you build out your resources in the service providers. Now, again, why do I ask you to go to your database? Because A, they know people. They may have family members that are. You want to connect with them. Because guess what? If Denise and her husband own ABC Carpet Care, I'm going to call Denise and say, hey, Karen just recommended you. She said you did a great job. Was she right? And oh, by the way, we need to be BFFs because you care for flooring and carpet. Guess what? I know people with flooring and carpet, and most of it's dirty. And there's usually a giggle. And that's okay. That's what you want. You want to build that connection and that relationship with them. I know people that have plumbing. Isn't that funny? I know people that have electricity. I know people that have roofs on their houses. Whatever it is, have fun with it. Have fun with it. Tell the vendor, hey, I know people with roofs. Everybody I know that's got a house has a roof on it. That's your specialty. We need to be friends because sometimes those roofs need to be inspected, cared for, or replaced. And they're going, oh yeah, I didn't think of that, because they're looking for business too. But you need to know how to develop that relationship. And in the Jumpstart session 3 and one of the other follow-ups, I address it again of how to develop out a solid relationship with your service providers. Now, you may only have 1, 2, 3, or 4 transactions that come from a service provider every year. Newsflash, that's 1, 2, 3, or 4 more than you've got right now. And at an average commission, I'm just going to say of $10,000, who could use an extra 10, 20, or 30, or $40,000? I'm seeing smiles across the board. So again, this is one of those avenues that agents often don't develop out. And when I learned to do it and blocked off time to do it, developed those relationships with those service providers, that became what I'm going to call it my spare tire, because that was extra transactions that would occasionally just drop in my lap. And I cried all the way to the bank. I'm just saying. But more important, my database, my sphere knew, because I asked them who they knew that I knew other people and I was the go-to source. So even though they gave me the name of a plumber, if they needed something else, they knew to call me. And in one of the training sessions, I give you the whole breakdown of how that backlashed. And I ended up picking up 4 or 5, maybe 6 transactions because one of my clients from work called and said, "Hey, Lynn, I know you're my go-to source. I need an attorney to do an LLC." And I said, "I know someone. Let me call and see if they do LLCs." And when I called her back, her coworker overheard us. That started one. Her boss overheard. So a week later, when he was getting relocated, he came to her and said, "Hey, who's your go-to source? I understand it's your realtor. I need to talk to someone." So I ended up with, as I say, I think it was 4, 5, or 6. I have to go back and really think through, but it was several transactions that came just because I was building out and did build out my service providers. So if that is something you're wanting to do, when we get off this call, you will go to your calendar in week 1 of every month. You will block off at least 1 hour or 1 hour 2 or 3 days a week to build service providers. If it's not on the calendar, it ain't going to get done. Okay. So the other category that I mentioned is other agents. Again, in Jumpstart training, I go through the whole scenario of how to build out and why to build out other agents, as well as your Samson agents in your database and your SOI. So I explain all that. I want to make sure that you guys understand the value of your database and the money that is sitting there. Now, you may think, "Oh, well, Greg already has his dream home. He's never going to sell." Well, guess what? Birds of a feather flock together. If I like Greg and I know he's got a beautiful home, he's got friends in that same sphere, just like him. So yes, I want to take care of him, because in case the day comes that he hears someone that needs some help or needs a change in real estate, he would recommend and introduce me to them. That's what you're going after. But most agents have their little blinders on and don't realize the value of the gold mine that they're sitting on. Now, in the same token, yeah, Greg and his wife may have the most beautiful drop dead dream home ever. But if he just got a job offer in Austin, Texas, paying him $2 million a year, he is out the door in 30 seconds. He is going to call me on his way out the door and say, "Lynn, come sell my house. The key is under the mat. I'm gone." So things can change in a moment's notice. So even though they have their dream home, common mistake I've seen agents make is they poo-poo off that person. "Oh, well, they have their dream home. They'll never sell." Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will at some point. And when the home no longer meets their needs, they're selling. They could have a life catastrophic event, either with health of them or their partner, or their spouse. Anything can happen at any point in time. Don't prejudge, is what I'm asking you. Don't prejudge. And then think, birds of a feather flock together. And if I like Greg and I think, he's got friends of a similar to him, I definitely want to take good care of Greg as part of my top SOI as well. Okay. So again, common mistake is prejudging and not having the breakdown, so you know who you're working with and what the potential is. Okay. Within your database, I would also encourage you to go through and to flag whether they're a homeowner or a renter. In many of the platforms, it allows you to flag them as a buyer or a seller. And for the longest time, I was totally confused as to what that really meant. If they are a buyer, if your only option is to mark them a buyer or a seller, A buyer is probably someone who is currently renting. So their next step would be to buy. That may be the only way you can flag them. If they're a home owner, their next step would be to sell. So if you're looking at the platform of whatever program you're using, and the only options you have is a buyer or a seller, that's how you break it down. A buyer would be someone who's currently renting because their next step hopefully would be to buy. Those that are a homeowner would get flagged as a seller because their next step is to sell. So hopefully that's a good takeaway for you. All right. Again, I don't care what platform you're using, but start there. In fact, I was talking to an agent the other day, overwhelmed with all the tech stuff. And I said, do you have a Gmail? And she said, yes. And I said, are some of your contacts in your Gmail? And she said, yes. And I said, start there. So I sent her the instructions of how to go into the Gmail account and add categories, just like the A, the B, the C, the D, the transaction partner, service providers, agents, and Samson agents. So she's able to do it right from the contacts in the Gmail. So if that's what you're using, there you go. All right. When you think of a business, the value of that business is the database. It is not the tools and supplies. Think of a dental office. The dentist has been in business for 30 years, has a large database, has all the equipment, all the bells and whistles, and he's going to retire and sell. Which is more valuable to a new dentist starting, the database or the supplies? Now, easily they go hand in hand, but the value is in the past clients, the database, the sphere of influence, whatever you want to call it. That is where the value is in a business. You have a real estate business. So think about it that way. What I want you to do too as your next little step is I want you to take a look at how many you have now. And if I were to say, okay, by the end of let's add 100 to your database. You're going to look at me in about 1 second with a deer in the headlights look and start going, I can't do that. But if you break it down, let's say you want to add 100. Okay, there's probably 50 weeks left in the year. That's 2 a week. That is not even 1 a day. So I want you to ask yourself, based off where you are at, how many would you like to add to your database over the next year? By December 31st, 2025, I will have a database of X amount. Then you will break it down where you're at to where you need to be. What's the amount that you need to add? And then break it down per quarter. Break it down per month. Break it down per week. Now, that is achievable. How to eat an elephant, 1 bite at a time. How do you add and build your database? 1 at a time. Okay. So that is my best words of wisdom on building out your database. Again, make sure they're being categorized A, B, C, and D. Transaction partners, service providers. Now, you can have someone who is who do I get to pick on now? I'm going to scroll through. Mavis, my darling, my love. I'm going to pick on you for a minute. Let's say she's one of my A's because she's been a client. She's given me referrals. I call and say, hey, as you can imagine, I'm often asked, um, for a service provider, who have you used? What have they done? Did they do a good job? Yeah, she's going to give me, whatever. And I'm going to make sure that I add them in. I can then flag them in the database as well with multiple categories. I can give them multiple flags, or it's referred to as hashtags. You'll hear that term, the hashtag that Bold Trail uses. It's the way to organize and to sort. So I could have an A, I could have a service provider, I could specify it's carpet care, and I could specify the area or the state or the whole DMV footprint. So you can, within the whatever database and how you're building it out, can have multiple categories for them, just so you know. Okay. But always, again, we agents are always taught you're supposed to have a touch point with your SOI, your database, like monthly. And most agents don't do it because they're scared to death because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. If you're going, yeah, I can relate to that. Remember, a couple of extra classes we have in our learning trails for you. Best one-liners, conversation starters, and scripts. I have a love-hate relationship with scripts because it works really well when both people have the script and they have it in front of them. But most of the time when you're calling somebody, both of you don't have the same script. So I like to refer to it as conversation starters and best one-liners. So if you're sitting there going, yeah, but I don't know what to say, check out that. This afternoon at our 2:30 class, we're going to be talking about how to communicate with your database and how to market to your database using newsletters, blogs, and other tools that we at Samson already have. So hopefully you can join me at 2:30. We're going to take it one step further. What I want you to remember is we've already walked the walk. We have already paid the price. We have a PhD from the School of Hard Knocks. We being the management here at Samson, are wanting to hand it over to you on a silver platter. We're wanting to make sure you know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, why, what works, what doesn't work, and why it doesn't work. For those that follow me in my various training components, you know me, I'm just going to shoot straight forward. If something doesn't work, I'm going to tell you it doesn't work, but I'm going to tell you why. I want to educate you, not just train you. Training is, as someone said, is like teaching the dog to sit. Okay. I don't even have to tell my dogs to sit anymore. I get the little cookie out and I hold it and they know to sit. They've been trained. Now, when they sit, they get the cookie and I go, cookie little girl. I want to educate you on why things work, the logic behind it, but I want to educate you on what doesn't work and why as well. Because there's a lot of glitter. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of, everyone's got their 2 cents out there, and you can go and dive into YouTube or Facebook or Reels or whatever it is and find all the real estate training in the world. And guess what? We're all pretty much saying the same thing. And the difference that I try to bring is I want you to understand the logic and the science, if you will, behind it, because sometimes there's neurolinguistic that goes with it. But I want you to know what to do and what not to do. I don't want to see you guys spinning your wheels on stuff that we know is not going to work. It hasn't worked in 20 years, so why is it going to start now? But we're going to tell you what does work, what the time frame is, what you need, the consistency, the build out. So this is why it's taken me almost 2 years, about 18 months to 2 years, to build out the entire learning trail platform for all of you. Now I can just put you on it and push. because we've got it mapped out and lined out for you. Okay. So hopefully, as we have just discussed the value of Jumpstart Session 3, you have a better understanding of the value of your database and why it is important to build it, always nurture it. The better you can stay in touch with them with information of value. Oh, wait, Jumpstart Session 1, when we give you the best mission statement to run with, and you can all run with it because you all have a different footprint that you're in. When your mission is to help them protect and maintain the value of their greatest asset, which is their home, the floodgates are open for you to have a contact with them without you feeling like you're bugging them and that you don't know what to say. Hey, I got a great tip. It's coming up in my newsletter. It'll be out on Friday. Just make sure you take a peek at it. When I saw it, I thought of you. Done. That's a touch point, and that's okay. You do not ask them every time you talk to them. So, who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling? Who do you know that's wanting to buy or sell? Are you ready to buy or sell? Because you know what? You're going to piss them off and they're going to block you in about 2 months. You don't want it done to you. I know. So don't do it to them. Come at them with value. And where does value come from? Protecting their money, protecting their investment. That is their home. That is where your newsletter, your blog, your monthly tips, your vendors all come in handy, and they all are a puzzle piece that come together and work together. So hopefully you've had an aha takeaway. What I'm going to ask you to do is to jump over to the chat box real quick and drop in what was an aha or a takeaway from this session that we just covered that you went, oh my God, I didn't know that. I totally forgot about that. I've never done that. What is your aha? What is your takeaway? And I'm going to come over and take a look at what, okay, paid email account. Okay. I know I see a bunch of you typing. So need to get the new work email up and running. And again, if you've already using whatever, at Gmail, you may still be able to get whatever through the paid version. So it's not like you're completely throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Ask the database for the help. Yes. That is a good one. Break down the database into categories. Absolutely. Need to have more cardinal pictures behind me. Ken, that was a good one. Yes, my little cardinal here. My cardinal. Build out the vendors. Absolutely. That is a good one. Again, made me cry all the way to the bank. Oh, speaking of crying all the way to the bank, many of you have heard my story when I was a full active agent in California. My big why, which we teach you guys all to develop and do, is to determine that mine was to help my daughter through college and the research trips and everything else. Well, the other day I was cleaning out a file cabinet or a section of it. That was my goal. That was my boost. Goal was to get that portion cleaned out of old tax records that I didn't need anymore. And I came across the notes and because I saved everything, the plane trip and everything when I was able to go with my daughter to Springfield when she did her research trip for her master's research. And I remembered, again, it was that flashback of, oh my God, that was the most amazing thing that we were able to do. And I was so glad that I had the funds, because remember, I was crying all the way to the bank, that I had the funds to be able to say, hey, I'm going, you going with me? Like in 2 weeks, we were on a plane and left. and also to be able to experience that and to see stuff on Abraham Lincoln that had not been out of the archives and seen the light of day in 100 to 150 years. It was just so, even just seeing the paperwork from the travel on it brought back all those memories. And again, that was my big why at that time. That was the big why. And as you know, we had family crisis going on at the same time. My best friend and real estate partner got diagnosed with cancer and died a year and a half later, destroyed me, but I knew I still needed to keep going. And that was the payoff. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. All right. So reach out to your A's and B's. Yes. With the mission statement, absolutely. Absolutely. Let them know that your mission is to help them protect and maintain. Just like they maintain their vehicle and you maintain your vehicle, you don't have to do oil changes on it, but you do to maintain the value of the car. Well, guess what? Your car may be expensive, but the house is way more expensive than the car is. This is supposed to be our field of expertise. We need to make sure that we're helping our consumers protect the value. Okay, there you go. All right. Mail. All right, very good. All right, gang, you have been wonderful. We're going to wind this down. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. This has been hopefully an enlightenment for you to understand the value of Jumpstart Session 3 and why your database, your SOI, is a gold mine. And so are you treating it like a slot machine? Or are you treating it like a vending machine? So with that, we're going to break. We'll be back at 2:30 for our next session of taking a deeper dive into marketing to your database with specific tools that we at Samson already have available to you. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Hope it's been enjoyable as well as an aha moment for you. Be great, be wonderful, and I'll see you back in a little bit. See you in the next session. Okay.
Thanks, Lynn.
You're welcome. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Lynn, as usual.
Oh, thank
See you
you.
later. I'll be back.
Okay.